The first trillionaire on Earth, a new achievement for American businessman Elon Musk, accomplished by no one before him, placing him firmly at the throne of the world's richest people. So what do we know about him, and how did he achieve this? 3 days of arduous labor were endured by Mrs. May Musk before she finally gave birth to her first child at exactly 7 a.m. on June 28, 1971, in the city of Pretoria, one of the largest cities in South Africa. Despite the painful labor, she felt immense happiness the moment she saw her newborn, whom she thought was the most beautiful baby, describing him to those around her as a beautiful angel. Initially, she and her husband Errol considered naming their son Nice after the French city where they spent their honeymoon. However, they changed their minds and named him Elon after his maternal grandfather, John Elon Haldeman. At that time, South Africa was boiling due to its apartheid regime against black people, which deprived the black majority of their rights, chief among them political activity. Just a few years before Elon's birth, the African National Congress was banned, and its most prominent leader, lawyer Nelson Mandela, was arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment. Elon reaching his 5th birthday coincided with the outbreak of the Soweto uprising, during which hundreds of black citizens were killed at the hands of the local police. In stark contrast, a white minority lived off the labor of black people in excellent economic conditions. They owned vast areas of land and monopolized the gold trade, amassing huge fortunes. One of those individuals was Elon Musk, who owned farms, private cars and planes, homes overflowing with servants, and abundant cash filling a home safe that he couldn't even close due to its fullness. Despite all of this, his son Elon did not enjoy a happy childhood. He grew up in Pretoria, the stronghold of the Afrikaners, the white minority that lived in constant terror and paranoia of the surrounding black majority, whom they believed to be evil. As a result, schools taught Elon and his peers anti-black curricula, describing them as terrorists. His life as a child was heavily restricted after his father reinforced the home's windows with iron bars and deployed fierce German shepherds in the garden to counter any potential attack by black people. Musk nearly paid with his life for this paranoia when one of the dogs attacked him at the age of 6 and almost killed him. That was not all. There was another, far more impactful side: the hellish marriage that joined his parents, as his mother later described it. Because of it, the family lived through 9 years of continuous turmoil, during which the mother suffered from infidelity, verbal abuse, and constant physical beatings from her husband. Such fights took place right before the eyes of Elon and his 2 siblings, Kimball and Tosca. During one of those battles, at 5 years old, Elon could no longer remain silent and intervened to protect his mother, hitting his father in the knee. However, that was not enough to prevent such violent fights from recurring. After Elon turned 8, his parents fought a fierce, familiar battle that proved to be the last, ending in divorce and shattering the family overnight. The family's life was turned upside down after May withdrew with Elon and his siblings from their father's mansion to live in a tiny one-room apartment containing a single bed, which May left for her children while sleeping in the kitchen to save on living expenses. May worked as a model and a dietitian at the same time, forcing her to be away from home for days on end. Amidst all this turbulence, some of Elon's extraordinary abilities emerged. He showed a passion for reading and a photographic memory that enabled him to memorize huge books with ease, leading his siblings to call him a genius. That state followed him to school. Despite his great excellence in certain subjects he favored, such as physics and computer science, teachers' reports frequently complained about his constant slowness and daydreaming. After living 2 years with his mother, 10-year-old Elon decided to move to his father's house, a move he justified at the time out of pity for his father living alone, though he would pay a heavy price for it later. He lived through volatile childhood and teenage years due to his father's unpredictable personality. The man who taught him the principles of engineering and assembling electrical components bought him a computer and took him on recreational trips to America and Hong Kong was the exact same person whose mood would suddenly swing, leaving his children alone for days with little cash, or forcing them to sit silently for long hours before yelling at Elon and showering him with insults, accusing him of stupidity and worthlessness. Elon lived through these contradictions under his father's roof until he turned 17. He resolved that he had to leave, citing the mandatory military service age in South Africa and his refusal to serve as an instrument for its oppressive policies against Black people. In reality, he had reached his breaking point with his father's actions and their continuous disputes, which persisted right up to the moment of his final departure. After Elon defied his father's categorical refusal to let him leave and booked himself a plane ticket to Canada, his father insisted on accompanying him to Johannesburg Airport to pursue him with a final farewell. Just minutes before his flight took off, his father told him, "You will fail and you will return in a few months." Elon flew to Canada without a single dollar and with a two-point plan: not to fail and not to return. Immediately upon arriving, he called a relative of his mother with whom he intended to stay, only to discover that the relative had left the country. Thus, Elon was forced to embark on his journey alone and broke. He worked any job that came his way to earn any possible income, cleaning grain silos, building animal shelters, and scrubbing hazardous materials from factory boilers. Despite his difficult conditions, his mother and two siblings traveled to join him, reuniting the family once again. Their mother worked 3 jobs simultaneously, yet poverty continued to corner them to the point where there were times they could not afford food. In the early 1990s, Elon enrolled at Queen's University, where he met Justine Wilson, who dreamed of becoming a novelist, while Musk dreamed of colonizing space, developing clean energy, and the internet. After studying in Canada for 2 years, he earned a scholarship to complete his studies at the University of Pennsylvania, enabling him to fulfill his old dream of traveling to the United States in 1992. In Pennsylvania, Elon studied both physics and economics, demonstrating great excellence that qualified him for internship opportunities at several Wall Street banks, all of which he turned down because he dreamed of a more vibrant adventure in Silicon Valley. Indeed, in 1994, he landed not just one opportunity in the place he desired, but 2, spending the summer interning at 2 institutions, during the day at the Pinnacle Research Institute and at night at the video game company Rocket Science Games, until he graduated from university in 1995 with a firm conviction that the internet would control the future of the world. Therefore, he tried to secure a job at Netscape, owner of the most successful web browser at the time, but failed in his efforts. Here, Musk decided that the best way to catch the internet train was by founding his own company alongside his brother Kimball and a number of other partners. The Musk brothers contributed a $28,000 stake to a company named Zip2, aiming to deliver a revolutionary service by the standards of that era, designing a website that gathered addresses of shops and restaurants and linked them to an electronic map directing people how to get there. A concept that may seem ordinary today, but in 1995, no one could comprehend it. When the Musk brothers tried to secure advertisements to fund their website, they were surprised that most companies didn't know about it, or even know what the internet was. Musk then turned to major newspapers, offering them the benefits of his website services and leveraging his software company's expertise to run real estate and auto sales ads online. This time, the idea succeeded, attracting prominent client newspapers such as the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune. The list gradually grew to over 140 newspapers across the United States within a few years. By 1999, the company was managing nearly 200 websites, reaching the peak of its success, prompting the Musk brothers to sell it to Compaq Computer Corporation in a deal valued at over $340 million. After becoming a millionaire at the age of 27, he decided to continue betting on the internet, investing the largest portion of his wealth into founding X.com, which aimed to be a financial services hub online. Until 2000, X.com engaged in fierce competition with a company called Confinity, whose creators developed a competing online payment system called PayPal. The war ended with an initial victory for Musk when it was decided to merge the 2 companies in March 2000 into a single entity under his leadership. However, he entered into prolonged conflicts with PayPal engineers. During this battle, he decided to crown his relationship with his college classmate Justine by getting married, and they traveled to Australia for their honeymoon, a vacation that saw a coup against him at PayPal, removing him from the CEO position. However, he retained a large stake in the company, making him one of the big winners when a massive deal took place in May 2002, selling PayPal to eBay for $1.5 billion. Musk's share ranged between $165 million and $180 million, depending on the source. That happy event coincided with a massive tragedy for Musk, as the same week witnessed the death of his firstborn son, Nevada, at just 10 weeks old. It was a tragedy during which Musk displayed chilling composure. After breaking down at the hospital, he refused to talk about the loss ever again, even disposing of all the baby's clothes and toys. This reaction stunned his wife and frightened her regarding aspects of his personality she realized she didn't fully know, creating an emotional rift between them that never healed, especially since he decided to overcome the ordeal by throwing himself even deeper into work. During a farewell meeting with some PayPal employees, when one of them asked what he planned to do next, he gave a very strange response: "I will colonize Mars." At that moment, Musk insisted on continuing his unconventional investments, deciding to work on fulfilling his old dream of space exploration by founding SpaceX, into which he poured $100 million to manufacture low-cost rockets. On another front, Musk was impressed by the idea of Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, who sought to create Tesla Motors to produce electric cars. In 2004, he agreed to contribute the majority of its funding on the condition that he become the chairman of the board. That step did not distract him from SpaceX, whose rocketry efforts continued. In March 2006, the company conducted its first launch test on Omelik Island in the Pacific Ocean. The rocket lasted no more than 30 seconds before exploding. The same failure plagued the company's next two tests, the last of which was in September 2008. SpaceX was on the verge of bankruptcy, capping an agonizing year for Musk, during which that failure coincided with a global financial crisis that created severe difficulties for his other company, Tesla, forcing it to lay off many workers and close its Detroit office. In parallel, conflicts accumulated with his wife, who grew tired of being marginal in his life. In June 2008, Musk decided to end their marriage, which had produced 5 children. The only thing that rescued him from all these failures was the success of SpaceX's 4th attempt in September 2008, delivering the Falcon 1 rocket into low Earth orbit, making it the first privately funded rocket to achieve this milestone. Less than 3 months after this test, NASA awarded SpaceX a massive $1.6 billion contract to conduct 12 resupply missions to the International Space Station, ISS. Thanks to this contract, the company developed the massive Falcon 9 rocket, equipped with 9 engines, making it 20 times more powerful than the first rocket. Meanwhile, Musk married British actress Tallulah Riley in September 2010, but their relationship experienced many ups and downs. They divorced in 2012, remarried the following year, and finally separated in 2016 without having any children. Afterwards, he became involved in what most close to him described as a toxic relationship with actress Amber Heard, who was on the verge of divorcing her husband, actor Johnny Depp. She also entered into deep conflicts with Musk, to the extent that it was said they argued all night, leaving Musk at times unable to focus on his work at Tesla, which was preparing to face one of its biggest production challenges with the Model 3. Despite that car achieving record sales, his breakup with Amber left a major impact on him, causing him months of depression. He tried to cope by engaging in relationships that did not end in marriage, such as his relationship with singer Claire Boucher, known professionally as Grimes, with whom he had 3 children, and later Siobhan Zillis, an executive at one of his companies, with whom he had 4 children. In parallel, SpaceX achieved growing success. In February 2018, it successfully launched the Falcon Heavy rocket, equipped with 27 engines, 3 times more powerful than the Falcon 9, making it the most powerful operational rocket in the world. During the rocket's inaugural test flight, Musk merged his major investments in a single moment by placing his personal electric Tesla car as the rocket's payload, launching it towards Mars, adding space success to his achievements on Earth, and bringing together his favorite rocket and favorite car in a single majestic scene. These successes propelled his wealth to record numbers, leading Musk to the throne of the world's richest person for the first time in January 2021, dethroning Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, who had monopolized that spot for years. Over the past years, Musk swapped that spot with a few top businessmen competing for the title of the world's richest, until June 2026, when Elon took SpaceX public, raising nearly $75 billion in a single night, a move that shattered all record numbers and allowed him to hold the top spot among the world's wealthiest by a crushing margin over the rest. All his competitors were racing in ordinary cars, while he alone rode a superhero Falcon rocket.